Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Tuesday, May 26th. Ian Cameron with you. Alex B. Smith not with us this afternoon, but he will be with us tonight for the Ice Guys live betcast for Game 4 between the Avs and the Golden Knights. And speaking of that betcast, it is tonight, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, Game 4, Western Conference Final. Can the Golden Knights complete the sweep? An improbable sweep of the Colorado Avalanche. They'll have that opportunity tonight to punch their ticket to the Stanley Cup Final for the third time in franchise history. Game 4, Western Conference Final, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern tonight, Colorado, Vegas. Patreon exclusive Ice Guys live betcast. To be part of the betcast, to join us either on the stream itself or to tune in to the betcast, make sure you're a Patreon member. Get on board, patreon.com/Ice Guys. Last night, a very entertaining Game 3 Eastern Conference Final, Carolina and Montreal. And for the first time in these playoffs, the Montreal Canadiens dropped 2 straight games. 2 straight losses for the first time in these playoffs for the Montreal Canadiens. It was a game where Carolina, once again, for the third straight game, got on the board first with the 1-0 lead. But Montreal did respond with a Mike Matheson wrist shot from the point, which eludes the glove of Freddie Anderson to tie the game at 1. But then Carolina, with a very quick response after that, with Taylor Hall's goal to go up 2-1 late in the first period. Gostisbehere, of course, got the first Carolina goal. And all those early bets we liked, they all hit. We had Montreal goal in the first period. That is now a remarkable, and to me it's remarkable, 15 of 17 playoff games for the Montreal Canadiens where they have scored a goal in the opening period. That's impressive. Montreal Canadiens now, we had the first period over as well, which was Alex's best bet. I was on that too. That's now 9-0 run for 10-0 run now for the Montreal Canadiens as far as first period overs in their playoff games. 10-0 first period over run for them. And a majority of these games too, there's been goals early. I think goal in the first 10 minutes is on an undefeated run in the Montreal playoff games as well. So anyway, that's been where the money's been in this series. It's just looking at the goals to be plentiful early. And unlike Game 1, where it went over in the full game, we have seen a bit of a slowdown. Things grind into a halt a bit more. Defensive attention, if you will, becoming more and more prevalent in the latter part of the game. So even though all 3 games in the series have gone over in the first period, the last 2 have gone under for the full game. A product again of the game tightening up a little bit later in the game. Montreal tied it, of course, in the second period. It was a beautiful play by give and go, finished off by Lane Hudson. It was such a great read by him in the neutral zone and in the offensive zone to take it to the net, really catch the Carolina penalty killers off guard, out of position, and were not ready to handle it. And that tied the game up at 2. But it seemed like as that game went on, and clearly the shots indicate it. I mean, the shots in that game were 38-13 Carolina. I think the shot attempts were like 80-30 something in the game in favor of Carolina. You could clearly see that that's 2 games in a row where the Carolina Hurricanes have started to wear down this Montreal team a little bit. And another overtime game last night, and Andrei Svechnikov with the overtime winner. It did officially go to Andrei Svechnikov, not Evgeny Svechnikov, by the way, unlike what Chris Cuthbert said during his call. And by the way, Cuthbert, I know he's getting crucified for calling Andrei, his brother, accidentally Evgeny Svechnikov on the overtime winner. It's an honest mistake, man. Sometimes it's just a slip of the tongue, brain fart. It's going to happen. You don't think I haven't had a bunch of fucking brain farts on this show in the past? Of course I have. Everybody's human. I'm only human, born to make mistakes. Remember that song from the 80s? Yeah. Everybody's human. You're going to make a mistake every now and then. I love the way he responded, Cuthbert, with the tweet saying, apologies to you, Andre. I just hope I had the right Aho screening in front of the net, talking about the other. the other Sebastian Aho that was playing with the Islanders for a bit. But it happens. But a nice job there by Carolina all around. Andrei Svechnikov with the shot. Great screen in front by Sebastian Aho for the overtime winner. Back-to-back 3-2 overtime wins for Carolina to take a 2-1 series lead. And we have to talk. The biggest takeaway I have from that game is obviously, look, Carolina controlled the flow significantly once again. It was difficult for Montreal to muster up any offense, any zone time, any chances, any shots on goal. And that's going to have to eventually change. We know Carolina is good at, limiting the chances and shots against, but you got to start generating a little bit more than you have. And I think it's getting to Montreal a little bit. Real good observation that I had last night. And he had a great blocked shot, during the game when it was tied, Caden Gooley. And he just had a terrific block shot where I thought Carolina might have scored. I don't think Dobish was going to get to that puck, and Gooley with an incredible block. But Caden Gooley, among others, trying to jump in the play, trying to do a little too much. That's not Caden Gooley's game, doing that kind of stuff. And he got in trouble a little bit doing that. And it just shows you how much it's getting in Montreal's head that they're not generating much offensively, power play or 5-on-5, especially 5-on-5. And that you got players that aren't, that's not, Caden Gooley's game is not lugging the puck up the ice and trying to jump into the play and become involved offensively. He's meant to be shut down, stay at home, be in good position, take care of the front of the net in your own zone. So, they're doing things uncharacteristically. I thought it's unfortunate that for Mike Matheson, they lost that game. He played a heck of a game last night. I think almost 30 minutes for Montreal, and he's one of the oldest players on the team as well. I thought you couldn't have asked for much more from Mike Matheson. But one of the bigger takeaways, too, it's another night where Carolina, as far as hits, it just hit everything in sight. They've been accused of not being physical enough in years past, but they are hitting everything in sight. And they understand what what needs to be done in this series. You're playing a team that's played 7-game series twice in a row, 2 straight 7-game series. They've now played multiple overtime games in this series. And there is no doubt fatigue and the gas tank is really starting to wane for the Montreal Canadiens. The fatigue factor is going up and the gas tank is going down for this Montreal team. You can clearly see it. They look like they're just in both of these games that went to overtime, hanging on, just hoping Dobish makes one more save, and hopefully we can pounce on a mistake and end up cashing in and scoring the winning goal on it. And it's a product, I think, of them being a little bit physically and mentally worn down. They've played a shit ton of hockey in these playoffs. And more importantly, they've played way more hockey than their opponent, the Carolina Hurricanes. And this is now where you see the benefit of the 12 days off for the Carolina Hurricanes. The fact that they have really worn down the Montreal Canadiens a little bit. And unfortunately, it's every other day for the rest of this series. So I don't know where Montreal is going to get a refuel, if you will. I don't know where they're going to be able to go to the gas station and top it up and put more gas in the tank. That's the issue right now with Montreal, and that's what they're going to have to overcome if they're going to have a chance to win this series. The series is not over yet, but you definitely cannot like the way it is trending if you're the Montreal Canadiens. You got to love the way it is trending if you're the Carolina Hurricanes. There's no question. And another big key element that I think was very important to notice with last night's game between the Canes and the Habs, Lane Hutson, this poor fucking kid, and I don't want to make him sound like he's, not receiving treatment from Carolina that other players aren't from Montreal, but this kid is being absolutely targeted every single shift he's out on the ice. When Lane Hutson's out on the ice, Carolina is going after him. They know he's one of the most gifted offensive players, certainly from the blue line for Montreal. And they are absolutely wearing him out. They are hitting him. They are cross-checking him. They are slashing him. They are elbowing him in the face, which, by the way, was kind of stunning it wasn't called, in overtime, which led, by the way, to a turnover in the neutral zone from Lane Hutson, which then led to Andrei Svechnikov's game-winning goal in overtime. And they actually did a great job on the broadcast. I think it was the Sportsnet broadcast, of highlighting William Carrier just leveling Lane Hutson in the corner in overtime with a big elbow. I think it was not an elbow, might have been the shoulder, but it was a hit to the head area with either the elbow or shoulder. And then moments after that, Lane Hutson's carrying the puck up the ice, and I don't know what he was looking at, but it was an awful turnover right to the Carolina player. And then seconds later, it's in the back of the net with Svechnikov's goal in overtime. Like I said, they are absolutely going after Hutson every shift, man. And I make sure I've got my eyes locked in on Hutson because I noticed this in game 2, and I mentioned it after game 2. And I was watching for it last night as well. He is getting absolutely bludgeoned every time he's out there. Like, they are not letting him go step on the ice for one shift without taking some sort of physical punishment. Like, they are absolutely, the plan is clear to punish this kid physically, and they are doing one hell of a good job with it right now, Carolina. And I think some of this physical punishment led to that turnover. I think he might have been a little bit dazed after that collision with Carrier in the corner. And then sure enough, turnover, and then, of course, the overtime goal. So, like I said, it's you got to give Carolina credit. This is not, fun and games. This is not, a situation where, this is play for keeps, man. This is the Stanley fucking Cup here. You do whatever the hell it takes to win. I got no problem with this. I know there's a Habs fan of mine, good friend, and he's getting frustrated that they're taking liberties with Hutson and saying, oh, this guy should be suspended for this. They shouldn't be doing this to Hutson. Most of it is within the rules. They haven't stepped out of bounds with a lot of these hits. This is it's the playoffs, man. You have to make your opponent pay a physical price, especially when we get this deep into the playoffs, because it's about who's left standing. Just look at Colorado, and we'll get to them in a minute. All the freaking injuries they've got. You think anybody's 100% there? Nobody's 100%, but some teams are worse off with injuries and overall team health than others. And if you're going to win the Stanley Cup, you have to wear down your opponent physically, however you can. And Carolina's doing a good job of that right now, especially against Lane Hutson. But they're hitting other people too, like they're hitting Caulfield. They're even hitting Slavkovsky, even though he's a big guy. Like, it's just been very, very impressive to see the way this team has been. I think they've ratcheted up the physical play big time. I think they learned a few lessons, painful lessons, playing the Florida Panthers in that regard. What they have to do to get over this conference final hump that they are trying to get over. And you got to give them credit for it. And like I said, going into game 4, I'm worried for Montreal about they're running out of steam. They're running out of gas, and they've just got to, Marty St. Louis is going to try to make some adjustments. You got to try to generate more offense, but it's easier said than done when you played a lot of hockey, way more hockey than your opponent. And that's where we're at now. Montreal's got to find some reserve energy somewhere going into game 4, because this series is done if they don't win game 4. I can't envision a scenario where down 3-1, they're beating the Hurricanes 3 straight times, especially when they've played much more hockey than Carolina so far in these playoffs. So we'll see. I thought it was a tough night again for, Slavkovsky again didn't have a great night. You wonder if there's an injury there with him. I mean, that's sometimes you use the injury, he's got to be injured as an excuse for poor play. But, he really hasn't been great as far as that goes in this series. And their depth guys have really stopped producing too. Zach Bolduc. And the problem is Zach Bolduc's not great defensively, and they don't always want to put him out there because of that. So if he's not scoring, they don't love him defensively. It's hard to get ice time for him. It's really the truth of the matter. So again, Kirby Dach gave you some offense earlier in the playoffs. I haven't had anything from him in this series. So like I said, it's Montreal's got their work cut out for them. That being said, as Jonathan's just pointing out in the chat, the counter to this is that, wow, you know what? We've been dominated the last 2 games, and yet we were one shot away from winning both of those games, game 2 and game 3, if you're Montreal. You could look at it that way. But at the same point in time, you can't just get caved in like this 2 games in a row and expect to win. Like at the end of the day, yeah, you could have won game 2. You could have won game 3. Did you deserve to win game 2? Did you deserve to win game 3? No, you didn't. You were dominated. You were very much outplayed. So from that standpoint, yeah, there you go, Jonathan. Doc and Veleno, Joe Veleno, just 8 minutes last night. Right now, Marty St. Louis is having a hard time trusting some of his depth forwards, and that's a problem. That's a problem when you played way more hockey than your opponent in this series. You can't roll 4 lines. You got issues. Carolina can do that. Look at Carolina. 4 lines. Rob Brindamore has no problem running out any of his 4 lines for regular shifts, especially in the third period later in the game. He has no issue whatsoever. And you worry that that's going to add up a little bit here as this series goes on. And it's not just mental, it's physical for Montreal. And that's what they're going to have to battle through here in Game 4 and beyond. Feel bad for Dobish. Dobish was outstanding. Again, Dobish is why they had a chance to win that game last night. But like I said, it just somehow it's not easy because this is the way Carolina plays. They shut you down. But eventually at some point you've got to be able to generate more and score more goals. So it'll be fascinating to see how Montreal can try to do that in Game 4 when that series resumes on Wednesday night. All right, let's turn our attention to Game 4, Western Conference Final tonight. Colorado Avalanche, Vegas Golden Knights. Is this the end for the Colorado Avalanche as the Vegas Golden Knights look to finish off a rather stunning 4-game sweep? Because not many predicted it would have been a sweep. There's not many that predicted Vegas would win the series, let alone win in a sweep. But here we are with a chance for Vegas to win 4 straight and move on to the Stanley Cup final for the 3rd time in franchise history. We got about even money here, minus 110 on both sides. 6 the total. Vegas leading the series 3-0. I hate to be someone that's not really giving the Colorado Avalanche, a team of their pedigree, their stature, the kind of regular season they've had, President's Trophy winners. It's kind of hard to see. It's kind of hard for me to say, wow, this team is done. They're finished. But I'm afraid they are. I'm afraid they are because I just don't know how freaking healthy this team is. They have suffered tons of attrition throughout this series. They finished Game 3 with that stunning loss where they're up 3-0 and they lose 5-3. They give up 5 unanswered goals after such a great start. And yes, they did get Cale Makar back, but he ain't 100%. You could see that in Game 3. And then they lose Val Nichushkin for the last half of the game. And then we saw the knee injury to Nathan MacKinnon. He's doing everything in his power to finish that game, but he shouldn't have been out there and really wouldn't be out there if it was a regular season game. And you could tell he was not right at all. Those 2 guys banged up. I saw earlier today Ross Colton, a couple others, Brent Burns on the blue line. They didn't participate in the optional skate this morning in Vegas before this game. So you just got to wonder, how healthy is this team? They look like they're running on fumes right now. Now, the latest we've heard regarding who's in and who's out is that Nathan MacKinnon is going to play, and I'm not that shocked by that. He's not going to be anywhere close to 100% Nathan MacKinnon, but this is Game 4. You're facing elimination, and Jared Bednar is not going to tell that guy, you can't play, sit down, you're hurt. Not Nathan MacKinnon's not going to listen to that nonsense. He's going to do everything in his power to play in a game like this, facing elimination, season on the line, and he's doing it apparently. So can't say I'm all that shocked that Nathan MacKinnon's playing. How effective will he be? That's a completely different story. That is for sure. Also, big news for Colorado is it's not really big news because I figured it was going to happen. And look, I've often criticized Jared Bednar for taking Wedgwood out and putting Blackwood in. I think he made a poor decision doing it before. I have no issues with him doing it here because I don't think Wedgwood was great in Game 3. I thought that was not the best performance from Wedgwood the other night. Now, they have way more issues than the goaltending, but I'm not that shocked that Blackwood's in here for Game 4 tonight. So just to shake things up, give Vegas a different look. in between the pipes. I'm not saying it's going to work, and I'm not a big Blackwood fan, especially the way he's played this year. Like, his numbers are not great. We remember the last time we saw him in the playoffs, he was absolutely getting lit up by the Minnesota Wild. It was an ugly game in that playoff series. I'm just looking at it now. He gave up 3 goals in the first period, May 13th of that series, and he got pulled, and it was ugly. They were down 3-0 in that first period, and he did not play well. So, and he hasn't been in net since then. To me, he's not an upgrade from Wedgwood. You could say, hey, Wedgwood was not great in game 3, and I understand that, but I don't think it's an upgrade going to Blackwood. And right now, the concerns are more than goaltending. It's that Vegas has found a way for their best players to make an impact. Marner's killing you. Eichel has been good. Brett Ouden, you can't stop him. Dorofeyev's made his mark on this series. Barbashev, they've all made an impact in this series for Vegas offensively. This Colorado defense has been an absolute disappointment in this series. All of them have been a disappointment. Sam Malinsky's been a train wreck to me. He's been among the most disappointing of all those Avs blue liners in this series. Brent Burns has struggled the last couple games. I'm not going to crucify him. He's at the tail end of his career, for crying out loud. And he's never been a great defensive defenseman, never, for this Colorado in his career. He just hasn't. So I'm not going to, has he struggled, Brent Burns? Yes. But Sam Malinsky's been awful to me. He's not hitting the net ever with any of his shots from the point. He got absolutely schooled defensively. What ended up being the game-winning goal by Tomas Hertl in Game 3 the other night. So yeah, Sam Malinsky been disappointing in my mind. I like Manson's been good. I think Devon Taves hasn't been that special in this series. Taves and Malinsky are the two guys that have really had to pick up the slack, especially in the first 2 games of the series without Cale Makar, and they haven't done it. They just haven't. They haven't been good enough. That's all there is to it. I don't mind Manson's game. He hasn't been a problem. Kulak's going to play a simple game. Not really going to criticize much of what he's done, but Malinsky, Taves, and Burns have had some issues. Those are the 3 that stand out to me. Meanwhile, you compare the performance of the Colorado defense to Vegas, and who's not playing well on the blue line for Vegas? Braden McNabb, playing well. Shea Theodore, fantastic. Noah Hannafin, superb. Rasmus Anderson, pretty damn good. Dylan Coughlin, you don't think he's playing well? John Tortorella can't stop talking about how important he's been to the Vegas defense. Caden Korzak has even been, he's their 6th defenseman. He's played pretty steady on the blue line for the Vegas Golden Knights. So, like I said, it's oh my goodness. Did he really say that? Jonathan's got a great quote from Bednar apparently regarding Nathan McKinnon playing tonight. Apparently he said, quote, "It's better than anything else we can put on the ice, in my opinion." Holy shit. You don't think much of your team, do you? Or the rest of the forward allotment, do you? With a statement like that. I don't know, man. It looks like it's done for call. It looks curtains. The body language stinks. I hated what Bednar said after Game 3, saying it's as low a point as you could possibly be in. That doesn't sound like enthusiasm. You were supposed to have an uplifting quote in a game like that, saying it's not over yet. We got to take it one game at a time. We just got to get ready, play the next game. It's terrible. It's Perlo's under. Yes, Perlo. Terrible energy in Colorado. It's a defeatist attitude, it sounds like. It sounds like they know it's over. They feel it. They're talking like it. Yes, it definitely feels that way. So how can I look any other way but Vegas tonight? How can I do that? With everything I'm seeing, everything I'm hearing. Blackwood, I have no confidence in. So I'm going to go Vegas money line split with team total. I like the team total more. I got Vegas team total over 3, -115 yesterday at BetMGM. I think there's a chance some of the price might have jumped up a little bit on it, but I think you'll still get 3 at a pretty reasonable price. The money line team total over split. The Vegas puck line +200. Jonathan likes that. I don't hate that either, but I like the team total over 3 most of all. By the way, here's an interesting stat too. Vegas has actually scored 3 goals or more in 11 of their last 12 playoff games. I mean, you probably wouldn't figure that unless you looked it up, but Vegas has really been consistent getting to that 3 goals plateau throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs. 11 of their last 12 playoff games, the Vegas Golden Knights have scored at least 3 goals. Not to mention, the reason why I like the team total, too, is because if obviously the Golden Knights if they're leading in the third period, that could open up the floodgates. This could also be a night maybe to go with Vegas alternate team total. Sprinkle on that over 4.5 at a really good plus price, which I think I might do at this point in time. So, like I said, it's just difficult, and we got the betcast tonight. So if for whatever reason Colorado comes out strong and, and maybe they've got one last salvage their season performance in them, but I got to see it before I believe it. With the injuries, McKinnon's going to be far less than 100%. There's no doubt Makar's less than 100%, even though both of them are going to play. We don't know if Big Val Nichushkin's going to play. He's a game-time decision. There's other players, I'm sure, banged up, including Burns, Colton, and others. So, like I said, definitely it's just hard to envision Colorado extending the series with just how how demoralized they were from that game the other night. So I'm going to go with Vegas moneyline team total over split. I'm going to be on the first period over and the full game over again. That's another thing too I mentioned about liking the over in Game 3. This has been a weird head-to-head series as far as totals are concerned, where we've seen all the games in Colorado go under and all the games in Vegas go over. I can't figure it out why, but the games in Colorado, 2-1 under, 3-2 under, 3-2 under, 4-2. The total was 6.5 in that game that was 4-2, and it went under. That was Game 1. And then 3-1 in Game 2 in Colorado under. And look at the last 5 games now in Vegas between the Avs and the Golden Knights. 4-3, game went over the total. 8-4, game went over the total. 4-2, that did stay under, the one under in Vegas. 6-5 over in the next game in Vegas. That was back in December. And then the one game in this series played in Vegas at T-Mobile, 5-3, Game 3 the other night, going over the total. It's been just a weird series. It's been low scoring in Denver at Ball Arena. It's been high scoring with these teams at T-Mobile Arena between them. So we'll get in on the over 6 here as well. Empty net props, clearly. Empty net goal, you'll find that at BetMGM. Vegas to score an empty net goal specifically. We'll get in on that as well. I'm sure Alex will have that. I'll mention Alex's bargain bin special and best bet when we do that segment. And then as far as props for this game here tonight, do I even have to mention the 2 words that I shouldn't even need to mention them? Brett Howden, do I really need to say it? Do I really, really need to mention Brett Howden anymore? He's obviously been just phenomenal, putting the puck in the net for Vegas. Empty net goal from him the other night in Game 3. Just keep going back to that well. Yeah, and he's that, by the way, on the betcast tonight, let's say he hasn't scored yet, Brett Howden, and even if he has, and Vegas is leading in the third, which means we're going to look for some live empty net goal props during the betcast tonight. Brett Howden's got to be one of them. He is a really good empty net goal candidate for the Vegas Golden Knights, no question. So, yeah, Brett Howden to score 100%. Close shave Barbashev. I think Barbashev, this feels like a night where he might step in and produce. He's had a pretty good series overall. Remember, he had the two goal performance, I believe, in Game 2 of this series. That's worth a look. I mean, if I'm going to look at anyone for Colorado, I'm actually going to look at some of the vets that have really given them something in this series. Another one, too, that has value because he's on the second line. He finally scored the other night. Keep an eye on William Karlsson, Wild Bill. I think Wild Bill now is up on the second line. Don't forget about that. So it wouldn't shock me to see him make an impact. I mean, crazy as it is to say, Tomas Hertl's feeling it. Remember, he almost went 30 games without scoring a goal earlier this season. And he now has points in 4 of the last 5 games for the Vegas Golden Knights. And he scored in 2 of the last 5 games. But for Colorado, Nazem Kadri, he has been someone that's been able to make an impact for them, and obviously the captain, Gabe Landeskog, as well. Landeskog has points in 7 of the last 10 games for the Avs. Let me see what else here. He obviously scored last game for Colorado. He's someone in a spot like this. You would certainly expect him to make an impact with the team's season on the line, trying to avoid the sweep. And by the way, shots on goal props, Brent Burns has gone over 1.5 shots in 5 straight games. Gabe Landeskog, I just talked about how the goal, the assist, and the point props are worth a look. He's gone over 2.5 shots on goal in 4 straight games for the Avs. Devon Taves has gone over 1.5 shots on goal for the Avs in all 3 games in this series as well. We have Carlson for the Vegas Golden Knights, who's gone over 1.5 shots on goal in back-to-back games. And Sam Malinsky has actually gone over 1.5 shots on goal in back-to-back games, although he's also missed the net a lot. You know, he could probably have more shots on goal in this series. Yeah, that's the problem, Titan CT. Lehkonen, you'd like to think in a game like this, you're facing elimination, trying to avoid the sweep. You want to bet props on Lehkonen, Marty Necas, Brock Nelson, but they're not doing anything. They are ice cold. They look like they have legitimately lost confidence and swagger offensively. All 3 of them. But especially, above all else from that trio, Brock Nelson. He can't buy a goal right now. He actually hit the post, I believe, in Game 3 in the last game, and he just cannot buy a goal right now for the Colorado Avalanche. So it's been tough, and I know when they dealt for him, you know, they were expecting him to be someone that would make an impact here in the playoffs. We just haven't seen it. Mark Stone, by the way, 3-game point streak. He got a point, obviously, and it was a goal specifically in his return to the lineup for Vegas in Game 3. So that's something to point out. And his point prop's only -125, -130. Very, very reasonable for a Mark Stone point here in this one. And then you're right, blocked shots. And I know our friend of the show, Ryan, who's been on the show a few times, has been really doing well with blocked shot parlays. But Josh Manson, 3 straight games over blocked shots. Noah Hannafin, 2 straight games over 1.5 blocked shots. And then in the saves prop, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? It's been 5 straight games, including all 3 games so far here in the Western Conference Final, where Carter Hart has gone over his saves prop. And his saves prop tonight is 28.5. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Colorado's got to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, toward Carter Hart tonight, trying to avoid a sweep. So, again, 5-0 run with the over saves prop for Carter Hart for the Vegas Golden Knights. So that's probably something worth putting on your card as well. All right, shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Reminder, BetCast tonight. We are looking forward to it. 9 p.m. Eastern. Western Conference Final, Game 4. Will it be the end for the Colorado Avalanche, and will the Vegas Golden Knights get a sweep and get to the Stanley Cup Final for the 3rd time in franchise history? Or can the Colorado Avalanche, even with the injury situation, somehow find a way to win and extend the series back to Denver for Game 5? We'll find out together tonight on the Patreon exclusive Ice Guys Live Betcast for Game 4, the Western Conference Final, Colorado-Vegas, 9:00 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. Make sure you join us. And to join us on the Betcast, you must be a Patreon member. Make sure you get on board, $10 per month, patreon.com/iceguys. Goalie charts, totals charts, daily betting card, sides, totals, player props posted each and every day on the Patreon page. My Dub Club subscription discount is still available. If you haven't used it yet, you can still get in on that. $50 off, so it drops the 1-month all sports subscription with the Dub Club platform from $75 a month down to $25 a month with that $50 off discount. So make sure you get on board with that if you're interested in NBA, MLB, CFL coming up next week, one of my specialties. And I am going to have World Cup soccer bets and picks. Now, I caution everybody with my World Cup soccer picks that I'll be posting on all my subscription platforms. Yes, I'll be mixing in some of my own novice soccer opinion, but a lot of that will be based on, you know, kicking around thoughts and opinions that a lot of good soccer betting contacts of mine have with the World Cup. But I will have World Cup picks. I know the last time there was a World Cup, I didn't provide any picks. But the difference is this World Cup, I'm actually going to be watching a lot more of it because it's in Canada, U.S., and Mexico. Those 3 countries are hosting it. So, you know, the games are going to be all, you know, late morning, afternoon, and night. So we can watch all the games. That's in our time zone, essentially. So that helps a lot, too. So we will have World Cup soccer part of the mix as well. And it will also be part of the mix on the Patreon page. We will have daily betting cards for picks all the other sports, excluding NHL, on non-NHL game days moving forward starting June 1st. So if you want to keep your Patreon membership going during the NHL offseason, you will get those plays in the other sports throughout the summer months daily at the Patreon page. So again, $10 per month. Your membership goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going long term. $10 per month. Get on board for the Betcast tonight and beyond. Patreon.com/IceGuys. Oh yeah, WizardSportsPicks.com. Check out the website. NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, CFL starting for me next week. Still number one on the website in the NHL this season. It's been a great NHL season. The YouTube channel for Wizard Sports Picks, lots of content daily now as well. So check it out, WizardSportsPicks.com. And check out the Ice Guys store. Get your gear and your merch over at iceguys.myspreadshop.com. All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
All right, bargain bin special of the night for Game 4, Western Conference Final between the Avalanche and the Golden Knights. When you look at hold on, I'm just beg your pardon while we're just trying to bring up Alex's here before we get to mine. There we go. All right, here we go with Alex B. Smith for bargain bin special of the night. He's going down the board, but then again, this guy scored in Game 3, part of that big comeback for the Vegas Golden Knights. In Game 3, Keegan Colasar, plus 850 for Alex B. Smith with his bargain bin special of the night. Keegan Colasar, that big body presence that he has been delivering for the Vegas Golden Knights on that fourth line with Nick Dowd and Cole Smith. Keegan Colasar for Alex B. Smith with his bargain bin special of the night for Vegas. Keegan Colasar, plus 850. I've got two as usual, one for Vegas, one for Colorado. We'll start with the Colorado bargain bin special of the night. You want to try to buy into one of these struggling players, like a Nelson or a Natchez or a Lehkonen. I don't know if I can do it. I'm going to go with someone that has proven he can chip in and get you a goal in these playoffs. He's one of the vets. He was here the last time they won a Stanley Cup in Colorado. I think he's had a pretty good playoffs overall. Give me Nazem Kadri. His family's going to be there too. I think Sam Kadri, they seem to be there for his dad and the Kadri family, they seem to be there for every playoff game right now. Give me Nazem Kadri for Colorado, plus 310 for him to find the back of the net. So Nazem Kadri, Colorado, plus 310 for my bargain bin special of the night for the Avs. And you know who it is for the Vegas Golden Knights, especially when there's no freaking adjustment in the price whatsoever. You could still get plus 340 on this man to score a goal. I don't know how the hell you can, but you can. Brett Howden, Vegas, plus 340 to find the back of the net once again. So Nazem Kadri, Colorado, plus 310, and Brett Howden, Vegas, plus 340 for my two bargain bin specials for Game 4 here in the Western Conference Final. All right, best bet for the Western Conference Final. Give me that team total over for the Vegas Golden Knights because I think this series could be over tonight. And 3+ goals in 11 of their last 12 playoff games for the Vegas Golden Knights. And I think we got a good chance to see them eclipse that 3-goal mark here tonight. So Vegas team total over 3, current price minus 118 at BetMGM. That'll be my best bet here for Game 4 of the Western Conference Final for Tuesday night. A shout out to everyone in the chat at the like button. Appreciate it very much. Again, we hope to see many of you tonight on the live betcast. Very much looking forward to that, and very much a night of intrigue. Do the Colorado Avalanche, are they able to dig down deep and find a way to get this series back to Ball Arena for Game 5? It will not be easy, because I don't think they're just battling the Vegas Golden Knights anymore. They're battling their own confidence level, which looks to be shot, and they're battling a ton of attrition, I think, physically on their side right now. So we will see if they can somehow overcome all of that with Blackwood in net, no less, and be able to find a way to extend this series to Game 5, or if the Vegas Golden Knights can finish it off and move on to the Stanley Cup Final. Make sure you're with us tonight, 9:00 p.m. Eastern Time, for the Game 4 Western Conference Final. Live betcast, Avalanche Golden Knights, 9:00 p.m. Eastern tonight, Patreon exclusive. Again, become a Patreon member to be part of the betcast. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Tuesday night. Enjoy Game 4 of the Western Conference Final, and good luck. And we will see you tonight, 9:00 p.m. Eastern, for the live betcast, Patreon exclusive. And of course, we are also back with you tomorrow on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern for another edition of the Ice Guys.